click it for you. You know, all right? So tell them we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on Radio Garden, we're on TikTok, we're on X, and we are on YouTube. Just tell them to help you click on Prince 89.7 FM Ibadan. Then you get to see Aunty Princewill live on your program, Greater Tomorrow. All right. Okay. So there were 3 friends named Yinka, Chike, and Edith. They used to live in the city. They lived in the city of Akure. I said there were 3 friends, Yinka, Chike, and Edith. They were friends. They lived in the city of Akure. So one day, Yinka's parents wanted to visit the village. And so they decided that, okay, we're going to the village to go and see grandma and grandpa. And Yinka told his parents that, Dad, Mom, can Chike and Edith come with me? His parents said he has to tell them to tell their parents. Alright? So Yinka was so happy, very, very excited. So he ran out and told his friends, Chike and Edith. So by the time he told his friends who were so excited, they wanted to visit Yinka's village. They wanted to see where Yinka came from. They wanted to meet Yinka's grandparents and all of that, because they had heard stories about what the village looks like, and they wanted to see it for themselves. So that was how Chike and Edith told their parents that Yinka's parents will be going to their village over the weekend, and can they go with them? And luckily, Chike and Edith's friend agreed, because they had known each other for a long time. So they agreed and said, okay, you can go to Yinka's village with his parents. And the 3 friends started arranging, packing their things. They were so excited, they were so happy that they have to travel outside Akure to the village to go and see their grandparents. Okay, so they set out on the journey, packed their things, and, you know, as children, their parents packed snacks for them. They packed some toys and packed some things that they would use while in the village. So they set out and moved straight to Yinka's village. And on getting to Yinka's village, they met his grandparents. But there was something very, very special about Yinka's grandma. Yinka's grandma was very, very meticulous. She doesn't like you just doing things anyhow. She was very, very keen about people being well behaved. So on getting there, Yinka's grandma had to teach Chike and Edith how to prostrate and greet in Yoruba culture. Don't forget, Yinka was Yoruba, Chike was Igbo, and Edith was from the South. Edith was from Calabar. So, on getting to Yinka's village, meeting his grandparents, his grandma taught Yinka and Edith how to prostrate to greet in the morning. So, but the very exciting thing was that they were looking forward to going around the village to see some of the stories that they have heard from Yinka, because Yinka used to tell them, this is what my mom, my dad said about my village. So they were curious. They wanted to know those stories. And part of the stories they were told was that there was this particular forest that was a place that they don't go there. Especially, it is only the hunters that had the privilege to go into that particular forest. But as children, they were curious. And Grandma had already told them, if you want to go to anywhere, tell me so that I will send one of the people around me to go with you. While they were in the village, they were so excited, they were playing, they were running around. Grandma was telling them lots of stories and all of that. So, that was how Yinka and Chike said, what if we visited the forest that Grandma told us about, that it was not a place where children should go? Immediately, Edith said, Grandma had told us not to go to anywhere without her instructions. But Chike and Yinka were so curious. They wanted to explore. They wanted to know what and some of the things that were in Yinka's village. So that was how the three of them set out. But after walking for some kilometers, after walking for about 3 to 4 kilometers, Edith decided to turn back. He said, no, Grandma had said we should not go to anywhere without her consent, without getting a proper permission, and without getting a guide to lead us. That was how Edith turned back. Then he was left with Yinka and Chike, who proceeded to go find out where the forest was located. And why they were there? They went with some of their toys and they went with some snacks. So while approaching the forest, Chike heard the sound of a bird. The sound of the bird was so beautiful. The sound was so sonorous that Chike was now trailing and wanted to know where the bird was singing from. At that point, Yinka also remembered Grandma's instruction and said, Chike, don't you think we should turn back? That was how Chike said no. He wanted to find out where the sound of the bird was coming from. Out of curiosity and also wanting to know where the sound of the bird was coming from, that was how Yinka also followed Chike. Don't forget, this is a forest that Grandma had told them that is a place where children should not go all by themselves. But because they were curious, they wanted to know what was happening. They wanted to know where the forest was. They wanted to know how the forest looked like. They proceeded. And while they were moving, they were trailing the sound of the bird. And the bird, being the kind of animal that it is, the moment it had a sound, it would move far away from the footsteps so it would not be caught. And Yinka and Chike kept trailing this bird. And while trailing the bird, they forgot the footpath where they were supposed to follow. They were not following the footpath, but what they were doing was to follow the sound, the beautiful sound of the bird. And before they realized it, it was already getting dark. And alas, they could not find their way back to the village because they were trailing the bird. Isn't that interesting? I know you want to know what actually happened at the end of the day. Okay, I'm going to be telling you. But don't forget, like I told you earlier on, that we're on the social media space. So tell mom, tell dad, tell your auntie, tell your uncle, tell your guardian that we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on Radio Garden, we're on TikTok, we're on X, and we're on YouTube. All they have to do is just help you click on Prince 89.7 FM Ibadan. Okay, so back to my story. Like I told you, they were trailing the sound of the bird. And before they knew it, it was already getting dark. And at that point, Yinka realized that it was getting dark. He told Chike, I think at this point we should turn back since we can't catch the bird. And the bird keeps moving very far into the forest. But because Chike was so interested in seeing the bird and catching a glimpse of the bird, he said they would still find out where the bird was singing from. But at that point, Yinka was beginning to be scared, because he remembered what his grandma had told him about that forest. But Chike, who was not a member of that village, who was not from that town, was inquisitive. He wanted to know what was about the bird in the forest. Don't forget, Grandma had given them an instruction that whenever they wanted to go anywhere, they should get her consent, and if it was a place that required a guard, then she would send someone to guide them. And as of the time we're talking about, Idet was already on his way back to the village, while Yinka and Chike were still going after the strange bird. Don't forget, they were trailing the sound of the bird. And while trailing the sound of the bird, they were going further and further into the forest. Okay. At this point, it was now becoming very dark. They could no longer find their way, and at some point, they could no longer hear the sound of the bird. That was how Yinka started crying. And before you knew it as well, Chike also joined in crying, because it was now very dark. They could not find their way back to the village. They didn't even know where to turn to, whether to go forward or go backward. They didn't know what to do again because they had lost their track. They had lost their track. They started crying and wondering, what do we do from here? Where do we go from here? Grandma had warned us. They now started blaming each other. Chike said, but I wanted to see the bird. The sound of the bird was so beautiful. Yinka said, yes, you were going after a strange bird, but now we can no longer hear the sound of the bird. So how do we get back to the village? They started blaming each other, they started arguing, and they started crying. Oh, what a very sorry state. I can imagine how Yinka and Chike would have felt. It was really a very sad situation. Very sad. They started crying. And by the time it was getting dark, Idet had gotten to the village and had gotten to Grandma and Grandpa. So the moment he went into the house, Yinka's parents asked him, where are your friends? Idet didn't know what to say. They asked again, where are your friends? And he said, they went to the forest. Wow! That was how Grandma came out of her room and said, what did you just say? Idet said, my friends had gone to the forest. They wanted to find out what was in the forest you told us not to go to. Wow, Grandma was so disturbed and very, very angry. Grandma was so disturbed and very, very angry because she had warned them not to go to the forest. And because it was getting very dark, they had to go in search of Yinka and Chike. Now imagine going out to search for these two children when it was getting dark. Yinka's parents were getting so worried and they started agitating that what could have happened to these children? I hope they are safe and all of that. They were really so worried and disturbed. So they started asking Grandma and Grandpa what they could do to find the young children. So Grandma said we have to go and meet the hunters to help us out, because they are the ones that knows the nook and crannies of the forest. They know the nook and crannies of the forest. So that was how Grandpa set out to meet the head of the hunters in the village. The moment he heard it, he was so bothered. He said, wow, it is already getting late. So how do I get my friends to join me in the search? Immediately, he was able to get about 3 other hunters that went with him. So he asked Grandpa what their names were. So Grandpa told them that their names were Yinka and Chike. So that was how the 4 hunters set out for the forest. So the moment they started moving into the forest, and you know, hunters back in the village, what they usually do, they set traps so that once it is morning, they will go there to check on their traps to see if it had caught any of the animals that they could slaughter or that they could kill, and use it to make as meat. So while Yinka and Chike were busy looking for their way around the forest and trying to get out, Yinka mistakenly stepped his foot on one of the traps that was set by the hunters. That was how the trap caught his foot. Then he started crying because at that point his legs were bleeding. He didn't know what to do. Chike too was also worried. He started crying. They didn't know what to do. They could not move because of Yinka's pain. Don't forget I told you that Grandma had told the head of the hunters, so they were already on their way to the forest, and they were now in the forest looking around to find these young children. They started scattering, checking around the forest, going around, so they had to share themselves into different locations. By this time, they started combing the forest, moving around the forest to find Yinka and Chike. So one of them, the head of the hunter, just remembered that they told him that their names were Yinka and Chike. And don't forget, he also told the 3 other hunters the names of those young boys. So that was how they started blowing their whistle. They would blow their whistle and keep quiet to see if they would hear any sound. Don't forget, the children had gone very far into the forest. So they would blow their whistle again to see if they would hear the sound of the children. Luckily for them, by the time they blew their whistles severally, they heard the sound of a child crying, which was Yinka crying because of the trap that had caught his leg. And luckily, it was the head of the hunters that found Yinka and Chike. So the moment he found the two of them, he started blowing his whistle to be able to call the attention of the three other hunters who had gone in other directions to look for the children. And finally, they found Yinka and Chike. By then, it was getting very, very dark. So, the hunters were able to save the children and they took them back to the village. And on getting to the village, Yinka was taken to the village hospital so he could be treated. And while he was there at the hospital, he was crying while the nurses and the doctors were attending to him. He was crying and asking, "Grandma, I'm so sorry. Mom, I'm so sorry." Chike was crying. They all felt very, very sad. But luckily, Yinka was treated that night and was taken back home from the village clinic. And that's the end of my story for today. I hope you enjoyed my story. Okay, so let's take a short break. When I come back, I'll open up the phone lines that I'm going to be asking you questions about my story. Please stay glued. It's still your program Greater Tomorrow on Prince 89.7 FM with your favorite host, Aunty Princewill. I'll be back after this break.
Hooray! We are back again. It's time for Prince FM monthly birthday party. Are you born in the months of December and January? Then you can have a lavish birthday at a very affordable cost. With just 3,000 naira, you can join all the children at Prince FM January birthday party. At Prince FM monthly birthday party, you will enjoy lots of games, ride on the bouncing castle, meet MC Clown, your favorite cartoon characters, and get lots of gifts. Date: last Sunday of the month, 28th January 2024. Time: 12 noon. Venue: Prince FM premises located at Asunde House, Alarere Junction, Gospel Bus Stop on Lagos Ibadan Expressway. Gate fee: 3,000 naira only. For more information and enquiries, please call Tosin on 081 31 39 7575 or Kunle on 080 34 34 4489. Remember, this one is specially packaged for children born in December and January. Date again: Sunday, 28th January 2024. Prince of a monthly birthday party. Happy birthday!
Alright, children, thank you very much for staying tuned to your favorite program on Prince 89.7 FM, Greater Tomorrow. Alright, so now I'm going to be opening up the phone lines. The number to call is 070-48,897 or 070-47,897. Hello? Hello?
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Adeli Grace.
Okay.
Akpete.
Okay, Adeni Grace from Akpete. All right.
Yes.
Okay, so did you enjoy my story? Did you enjoy my story?
Yes.
Okay, so can you?
Yes, we're your friends.
Okay, yes. All right. So can you tell me? Can you tell me the name of the three friends that I told you about?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, the name of the three friends in my story. So what were their names?
Ika, Edet, and Kike.
Wow, a round of applause for her. That is beautiful. Thank you so much for calling me. Okay, it shows you are really following my story. Thank you so much for calling me. I appreciate. The number to call is 070-48,897 or 070-47,897. Hello?
Hello, ma.
Good.
Hello, ma.
Yeah. Good afternoon. What's your name and where are you calling from?
I'm Tola Shemilore from Alad.
Tola Shemilore from where? Is it Alakia?
Aladi.
Aladi.
From Olomi.
Okay, from Olomi. Okay, Shemilore from Olomi. All right. Okay, so Shemilore, I mentioned 3 friends. Somebody had told me that. Where were the 3 friends living before they traveled to the village? Which town were they living before they decided to travel to the village?
Yinka lives in the village with their grandparents, and Chike lives in Calabar. Edet lives in South.
Nah. You have an idea. They actually lived in Akure. Yinka, Chike, and Edet lived in Akure. They were family friends. But Chike was Igbo, Edet was from Calabar, and Yinka was Yoruba from Akure, from Ondo State. Is that clear? All right. Thank you very much for calling me. I do appreciate. The number to call is 070-48,897 or 070-47,897. So with these numbers, you can call me. Then you tell me what you heard from my story for today. Hello, good afternoon. Okay, the number to call is 070-48,897. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello, ma.
Hello, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, ma.
Okay. So you're calling on behalf of who?
My name is Gideon, ma. Calling from Ogun State, Ajebo.
Okay, Gideon from Ogun State. All right. So Gideon, how old are you?
Actually, I'm 25 years, ma.
You are 25 years.
Yes, ma.
Wow, that's interesting. Okay, so can you do me a short summary? Can you give me 3 significant things that happened in the story I told you today?
Actually, ma, as in, what I want to say is that I'm very, very happy about the story you give to us.
Okay.
Because it is good to hear our parents, as in, it is good to hear them out.
Okay.
Because whenever they say no, you have to follow the no, and whenever they say yes, you have to follow the yes.
All right. Okay.
If they heard grammar very well, they didn't. I mean, that shouldn't have
happened to them. All right. Thank you very much for calling me all the way from Ogun State. Thank you so much. I really appreciate. The number to call is 070-48,897 or 070-47,897. Hello. Good afternoon. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Fatia from Felele.
Okay, Fatia from Felele. All right. Okay. You listened to my story, right?
Yes.
Okay. So tell me one lesson that you learned from the story I told you today.
I learned that we should be obedient.
Okay. Yes, that's beautiful. Yes, we should be obedient. So, can you tell me who the children were disobedient to in the story?
Please repeat the question.
Okay, I said, can you tell me who they disobeyed in the story? Who gave them instructions that they disobeyed in the story I told you today?
The grandma.
Okay. All right. The grandma warned them not to go to anywhere without her consent. Thank you so much for calling me. The number to call is 070-48,897 or 070-47. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, ma.
Good afternoon. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Oyeleke Success.
Okay, Oyeleke Success. From where are you calling?
Hello, ma.
I didn't. Okay, all right, Success. Okay, Success. Can you tell me how many were the hunters that went in search of the children that were lost in the forest?
7.
Wow. Did he just say 7? No, it was just 4 hunters. Don't forget, Grandpa went to meet the head of the hunter, a man, and the head of the hunter contacted 3 other hunters. So there were 4 that went in search of the children that got lost in the forest. Okay? Alright, thank you very much for calling me. The number to call is 070-48,897 or 070-47,897. Hello? Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, ma.
Yes, good afternoon. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Vincent from Monoton.
Okay, Vincent from Monoton. Alright, okay. So, tell me, are you listening to me?
Yes, ma.
Okay. Aside from being disobedient to grandma, what was that thing that is another lesson that you can learn from the story?
I learned that we should obey our parents.
Yes, I said aside from being disobedient, that's obeying our parents, which other lesson did you learn from that story?
I learned we should obey and listen to our parents now.
And we should always get our parents' permission, consent before doing anything. That is part of the lessons from that story. We should always get our parents' consent. Whenever we must take any important decision, we should always get our parents' consent. Because if they had gotten grandma's consent, they wouldn't have landed in trouble or they wouldn't have gotten lost in the forest. Thank you so much for calling me. I really appreciate it. The number to call is 070-48,897. Hello. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Okay, what's your name and where are you calling from?
I'm coming from Olodo.
Okay, Damilola from Olodo. Alright, so Damilola, tell me, how many friends were lost in the forest?
3 friends.
3 friends?
Yes.
Oh, you weren't following my story. It was 2 friends that were lost in the forest. There were 3 friends, Yinka, Chike, and Edith. But Edith turned back and decided to obey grandma while Yinka and Chike proceeded into the forest. Did you get that?
Yes.
Alright, thank you very much for calling me, Damilola. The number to call is 070-48,897 or 070-47,897. Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Good afternoon. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Calling from Oyo.
Okay, what's your name?
My name is Ogundipe Emmanuel.
Okay, Emmanuel from Oyo. Alright, Emmanuel from Oyo. Okay, that's beautiful. Alright, so tell me, Emmanuel, when the children were, what was that particular animal that the children had the sound and were trailing in the forest?
Bird.
Okay, they had the sound of a bird and were trailing the bird in the forest. So, who was injured among the 2 friends that were lost in the forest?
Yinka.
Yinka. Beautiful. A round of applause for Emmanuel. Thank you so much for calling me. Yes, it really showed you were following my story. Thank you very much for calling me, Emmanuel. The number to call is 070-48,897 or 070-47,897. So, call me. I'm going to be asking you questions about what you learned from my story. Hello? The number to call is 070-48,897 or 070-47,897. Again, 070-48,897 or 07047. Hello, good afternoon.
Good morning. Good morning, ma.
Good afternoon. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Esinite and I'm 10 years old.
Your name is what?
Esin Harris.
Okay, Harris. Okay, Harris. All right. Where are you calling me from, Harris?
I'm calling from Esin.
Okay, although I didn't get that properly, but
I said I'm calling from Elebu.
okay, all right, from Elebu. That's beautiful. All right. So tell me, what was that thing that injured Yinka in the forest?
It was the trap that the hunter set.
Oh, a round of applause for Harris. That's beautiful. It shows you were following my son. So the second question, who was very angry and also panicked? Who was very angry?
It was Yinka's grandma.
Okay, Yinka's grandma. Beautiful. A round of applause for Harris again. Thank you so much for calling me. In fact, I'm so happy. The number to call is 070-48,897 or 070-47,897. Hello.
Hello?
Hello, good afternoon. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Samuel.
Okay, Samuel. From where are you calling from?
From Adegbayi.
I didn't get you.
From Adegbayi.
Okay, Samuel from Adegbayi. All right, Samuel from Adegbayi. All right, so Samuel, can you tell me when they found Yinka already injured by the hunter's trap, where did they take Yinka to?
Hospital.
Okay, Yinka was taken to the village clinic. All right, Yinka was taken to the village clinic. Okay, so let me ask you one more question. Can you tell me the name of the three friends? Can you tell me the name of the three friends?
Yinka.
Okay.
Chicken.
Uh-huh. Okay, let me help you out. Edith. The last friend was Edith. Thank you very much for calling me, Samuel. Thank you so much. You tried. That was a beautiful one. Let's give him a round of applause. Okay, thank you for calling me, Samuel. The number to call is 070-48,000. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Okay.
My name is Omomi Market.
Okay, Omomi what?
Market.
Martins.
Yes, at Olorunshogbo.
Okay, Omomi Martins from Olorunshogbo. All right. Okay. So, can you tell me the places the hunters? I mentioned a word. I mentioned two words that the hunters had to search where and where of the forest. Can you tell me?
The Nook and Clinic.
Beautiful! A round of applause for him. That was beautiful. Yes, a round of applause. Really showed you were following my story. Thank you so much for calling me. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It really showed you were following me very well. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
All right, good afternoon. What's your name? You're going to be my last caller for today. What's your name?
Carol Victor.
Okay, Victor. From where? Okay, all right. So area carries on 6. All right. Okay, so Victor, tell me, how many hunters went in search of Yinka and Chike?
4.
4 of them. That's beautiful. Yes, thank you so much. And what was that thing that they set in the forest that caught Yinka's foot?
Truck.
Okay, so what lesson did you learn from my story?
Learn to be obedient.
All right, so now you know it is very important to be obedient. Thank you very much for calling me. Thank you so much. A round of applause for him. A round of applause. All right, children, don't worry. I can see your calls coming in. I wish I can take more of your calls, but don't worry. Aunty Prince will be back next week Saturday by 12:30 in the afternoon. I'm going to be back again to give you another round of beautiful package of Greater Tomorrow. I'm sorry I might not be able to take more of your calls because I really need to be out of the studios right now. But from the story we have heard today, learn to always obey at all times. And don't forget, you must always get the consent of your parents whenever you want to take any decision at all. Don't, like I always say, be good, be good. I love you. My name is Princewill Ogu Adeomi. I'll be back on Saturday 12:30 with another interesting package of Greater Tomorrow on Prince 89.7 FM Ibadan. Until then, stay blessed. Bye bye.